Hello and welcome to the Bricecast, a Call of Duty Esports Call of Duty Esports podcast. I've already messed up. Covering everything Call of Duty Esports and the business side and the player side and the histories and the stories and everything so on and so forth. I am obviously Brice, but more importantly, my guest for this week, Kenny or Kuavo as he goes by. First of all, how are you?
I'm good, really, really good. Just chilling.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I know it's been a bit of a chaotic off season,
Mhm.
and we'll get to that. There's a lot of history to cover with you, right? Like a lot. Like I've been going through it because I usually remember a lot of players' history and stuff, but I always go and kind of brush up just in case.
Right.
Um, and I forgot because it was one of these things. Like I want to talk about your TK year first, and I explain why. So I was going because technically that was your rookie year,
Yeah.
even though I'm fairly certain I cast over you back under Team
And
Justice like ages ago. So I was like,
yeah.
um, so let's talk about that because that was technically your first like pro year when you first turned 18 and you kind of
Mhm.
jumped in and everything. Like, was it
Well, so funny thing about that is that I was actually supposed to join Epsilon in
okay?
AW to be in the pro league. I don't remember what happened, but it was like with Parasite. I can't remember the exact team, but I was a sub for them for the
Yeah,
pro league in AW, and they were actually supposed to pick me up on the actual team. Didn't end up happening, so that's why I personally consider it like forward to my first pro years because it was like my first season in the league. So yeah, I did sub in for like a match or something like that too in AW, but like my first full pro season was like World War II. So
yeah, that's fair. Like, because I remember that season as well. Like, because that was a very defining season for you, I think, in your career, right? Because
for sure.
obviously first year as a pro, but also the performance you put on your first year in TK, an org that now is not looked on as favourably as it could be. But at the time, big organisation, right?
Sure.
Very kind of historically relevant in Call of Duty.
Mm.
What was it like, kind of coming into that world, that first step up into the big leagues? Because what you'd played before, obviously you've taken a little bit of sabbatical, you come back, you're now in the pro league with that kind of team.
Um, I mean, it felt good to be honest at the time. Um, I kind of took the opportunity just for the money, not looking nothing of it, to be honest, because
Yeah.
at the time I was working at a arcade, only making like $300 like a month. So I was like, TK was like, well, Lamar actually hit me up and was like, yo, like we're trying to play with you. Like salary starts at like $1,000 a month, and at that time that was like 3 times as much as I was making already. So I'm like, I'm down. I get to play Call of Duty for more than like what I make right now at my job. I was in school too at the time in college, my first semester. And my agent side of my family was not happy to like hear that I wanted to play Call of Duty.
Oh, I bet
Especially
not.
yeah. But I'm like, I make 3 times as much as I do make and I'm doing something I love. Like I love playing video games. Like anytime I wasn't doing homework or anything, I was playing COD, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it felt good to join a team, especially like skipping to like the pro scene, like especially like TK. Like I've known TK or the team since like BO2 days, stuff like that. So joining a team like that felt good, but it also kind of felt weird. I've played with Lamar and Sheen a little bit before that, like in S&D, but it wasn't like too crazy where like they were my boys or anything.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird jumping into a team like the first few months or so, or like weeks. I don't remember. I was like, we had to play GB matches. I wouldn't even be in the call talking to them because I didn't really know who they were. So it was like this S&D kid just joining the team, just playing. I didn't really talk to them unless we were scrimming. And funny story is I actually was the main AR. Well, not the
Yeah.
main AR. I ran an AR for our team. Lamar ran the sub for like the first day or two, and he was actually playing well on it. And then I think we ended up playing E United or something like that, LG or E United, one of them. And Lamar got absolutely fried. Like didn't get
Okay.
like fried to like the extended version. Like you didn't even get like 2 kills a map. Now I'm gassing it, but like we were like, yo, we need to like change something. Like it's so funny because like a lot of teams these days, like you do bad in one scrim, you just chalk it.
Yeah.
Like that, like during that time, we had one bad day. and we were like, Lamar, you are not running a sub. That's how bad it
That's
was. So,
I mean that's sorry to interrupt you, but that's insane because of obviously in context, like that happened more often than we would care to admit back in those days. But when you think about it, that one day changed the course. Could have very well changed
exactly.
the massive course of Team Caliber. But sorry, go on.
Exactly. No, I was like telling him like, yo, like during the beta, like for this game, I didn't even use the AR, so I can low key run the sub. Like that's the only gun I actually used during the beta. And then they were like, yeah, all right, yeah, let's do that. And then, I mean, I just was really good with the sub, and then that's where it all started. And I feel like after the very like first 2K or something like that,
Yeah.
uh, funny thing is the first 2K lasted like 6 in the morning. I had an exam for calculus at 8 in the morning.
Oh,
So I was just like, I can't do this. I gotta pick one or two. And like after my semester was done, I instantly like gone. But I feel like that team is big for me for sure because I developed good friendships with like Lamar and Sheen. They're like
yeah.
some of my best friends, and like I said, Lamar's probably my favorite teammate of all time, just because he's like the one that gave me my opportunity. Like I'm blessed to do what I do now, and I appreciate him for giving me the opportunity to do it. Obviously, the team wanted to play with me, but he was the guy that hit me up. So like I'm like closest with Lamar out of anybody in like the pro scene. So yeah, I just appreciate him for that. And then I mean that year just went really well for us.
Well, let's talk about that then, because, like I said, there was technically previous history with you playing Call of Duty, and
Right.
going through it, it looks okay. Like there's nothing massively kind of sitting out here. I think UGC Niagara, but that was a smaller event. I'm looking through here. Like there are various like decent results you've had over the years, few
Yeah.
2000 series and stuff. But and why it's significant, right, is because obviously this is your MVP rookie winning year.
Yeah.
Dallas Open, you come into that event, big event, the Dallas Open, and win, right? Big first
Right.
event of World War II. You come in, you win that event, you end up going back to back after winning New Orleans. Like, what was that like? You know, going to your first pro team and then going straight to being a champion.
um, it was actually really really crazy because like I said, I was just coming up, so like I think we got like top 4 or top 3. I can't remember what we got the first few 2Ks,
Yeah,
and
top
we're
four,
going
top four.
at top 4, right? So going into the event, I'm like, oh, we're a top 14 for sure. But like, I had like this S&D kid mentality. I had like my ego's out the roof. Like I don't think nobody's better than me. Like any S&D kid you talk to nowadays will say the same thing. And so, going into the event, I was just hyped to play. To be honest, like I haven't played on stage since AW. It's a whole new game. I'm obviously way better at this game because I'm already placed in top 4. I get to start this season off in the beginning, and like I was just hyped to play. So like I don't know. It just felt really good. It felt like refreshing. It felt like a whole different environment because I felt like I grew as a person over like those years because I was obviously way younger. I just more mature now. So like it felt different. I was really taking in like actually everything about the event. Um and yeah, I was just hyped to play. And I think we were playing against Red Reserve. Yeah, we're playing against Red Reserve. And we had like the bomb threat or whatever.
Oh,
And
yes, I remember that. I
yeah,
remember that.
till this day, people say we're about to lose, which we kind of were about to lose, but it wasn't like 100% because it was Forest Hardpoint that they were beating us on, and like Forest was our best map for sure. I mean, it was named Lamar and Kenny's Forest, so it's like um that middle they were beating us. I can't remember how much, but they were beating us by a good bit, and the alarm went off. We ended up chalking that day. We came back the next day and we just absolutely smoked them, like 50-point club them. And like that was the start of our run. Like that
Yeah.
was the start of our year. Like we were like that was like a resilient moment for us. Like they were beating us. We came back the next day with a whole new mentality and like absolutely smoked them out the water. So after that moment, I think I kind of had this feeling we weren't losing. And then I think we played Optic in like winners finals or something like that. And Lamar just went absolutely rogue. Like rogue. I'm pretty sure it was Optic. It was either Optic or I can't remember like the exact game, but um yeah, it just felt good because like me personally, and like obviously no offense to them, but I was going into this team thinking we were like a top 12 team, like top
Yeah.
12, maybe top 8. Like these players haven't really had their best years. Like, um, obviously I became best friends with them over time, but like I was coming into this like they're like semi pros, like they're like the lowest tier. That was
Yeah.
like my ego at the time. Like like I'm just joining these fools just to play. And like as I started playing with them, like yo, these are like actually some of my best friends. Like I love playing with them, and like I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like that's a thing that a lot of players like take for granted is that if you can just get on a team, that's like a blessing. Like people will say nowadays, like I didn't have the teammates. But at the time, if you think about it, Lamar, Sheen, and Theory, Dylan, they weren't considered top players. They weren't even considered good players. Like, there's no offense to them, but like,
No,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
understand. I
Yeah,
understand
you
what
know
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, people nowadays would be like, I didn't have the good teammates to do good. It's like that's not the right mentality to have because like you can win with anybody. In AW, like nobody considered maybe me or Spacely or Envoy good, and definitely not Assault good because Assault was about to quit before I started playing with him in AW, and we placed top six. Like that's good, and like that's why I feel like that mentality goes out the water. Like you can't say like I didn't have the teammates.
No. Do you ever
Um,
think people lose context of that though? Because like people, like you said, coming top six, actually a very good thing for a
really
lot of
good
people.
thing.
But it's like I feel like, especially maybe even now, people don't have the more realistic expectations. Obviously, as a
Right.
competitor, you want to be first every single time. But
True.
I remember back then, top six is a hell of an achievement,
Really
right?
good. That made my career. That's the only reason people knew me because I made top six at that event. They're like, oh, you can, because I was known as an S&D kid online. Like all I was good at was online, and then plays the top six at the event. That kind of like stamped me as like, oh, he can actually play on land. Like he's played in front of fans, like stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like that's true. Like a lot of people just want to win, like this. Like they just want to jump on the
Yeah.
best team and win. Like that's not how it works. And like I'm not saying that like you don't get costed by teammates every now and then, but I won two events. I'm pretty sure I have the an event win with the lowest KD on my team. And I'm not roasting Theory McGee. Like I mean, he didn't play bad at the event. He kind of won us the event by getting like a collateral snipe on E United. But like he had a .7 or something like that. I think that's the lowest KD to ever win the event. And like,
That's impressive itself.
like, and that means we were playing the game right. And I feel like that was like a big thing. That's a big thing nowadays. People just forget that. Like you can actually play the game right and like outplay teams instead of like, oh, I just outslay everybody. Like last year, Atlanta, obviously no roast, not roasting again. No offense to Atlanta, but Atlanta would outslay every team, but every game would be close. Rather they play, obviously they fried us a few times, but like in scrims stuff like that, it would be close. Or when they
Yeah.
played against other good teams, it'd be close. And anytime they played a team that matched their slaying, they exposed them because they didn't. To me, they didn't play the game right. Obviously, with our team not having the best placings, it doesn't seem like we know how to play the game. But I feel like we had a very good understanding of how to play the game. We just couldn't execute it. But like Dallas, for example, they were the perfect team. They were literally the perfect team. They had the slang. They knew how to play the game. Um, and yeah, they would just expose teams that could match their slang, or if you could match their slang, they would just expose you by outplaying you. I feel like a lot of people nowadays just forget that context and they just try to win, and get in the team with the best players. Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's not. I don't think that's the right mentality to be honest. But what do I know?
No, I can agree with you. I think you are right. That Dallas team last year was just a phenomenal team, especially with they all seem to be on the same page, and that's devastating when a team's in that
Exactly.
scenario. Like it's difficult to deal with. So my next question kind of relates to this first bit of World War Two. It's the reason we started here, right? You
Hmm.
went back to back. And the first part of that I want to ask is, did you notice like members of the community drastically change their opinion of you? Did people started acting a little bit different? Was all of a sudden did you have a lot of best friends essentially going, hey, I want to know this two-time champion?
Yeah, low key. Like I wouldn't join the eights calls or anything play eights
Yeah.
before the first two events, and then I started joining. I think the first person that called me out about joining the eights call was Nameless, and he was like, "This fool Kenny wins events, and then starts playing eights with us." It was just like it felt like I found a whole new group to hang with. Because like I said, I didn't even hang with my teammates at the time until like maybe the first event. Like I wouldn't even talk to them during. I would talk to them during scrims. That was it. We played GV matches. I would play in my own call. They would play in their call, and like, and it's so funny because Saint Marie S&E is like we were so good at Saint Marie S&E because of that. Like I would just go rogue on my own, and I was supposed to be doing something completely different. and Team was supposed to be doing what I was doing. So like he was like, I'll just do what Ken was supposed to be doing, and Ken can do whatever. And then that like developed our strat. But yeah, I did like start talking to new people for sure because I didn't talk to like I said, I didn't talk to a lot of pros then. I didn't even talk to my teammates, but I definitely developed a good friendship through eights with a lot of
Uh-huh.
different pros that I thought I would never talk to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say people started acting different. It's just like nobody knew who I was um, until I started winning. Everybody just seen me as like, oh, he's just a S&D kid, like he's joining TK.
Yeah.
Nothing too serious.
Do you think it probably made it like easier for you to gel with these pros? I suppose like you'd already gone out there and earned their respect without having to speak to them. So now when you do speak to them,
Yeah,
they automatically have to like respect you as a defending
yeah.
champion. That's
I
interesting.
think I think that's good. I think that's it. I feel like yeah, I feel like that's definitely it. Especially going back to back. I feel like a lot of people can consider the first like event win and like kind of an asterisk win because like it's one of those wins where like who knows the game the best?
Yeah.
Like the first few months, who knows how to pick the game up the fastest? Like it's not even about like I feel like that's why I always say like champs obviously it's like the biggest event, most money, but it's the best event because everybody knows how to play the game. It just comes down to who executes better because it's the end of the game. You should know how to play the game. But like first event, usually like, oh, who knows how to learn the game the fastest. But then winning the second event back to back is kind of like, oh, maybe they are the best. And so like definitely after winning back to back, I had like I guess a little more respect from a lot of the pros. They like more pros would definitely speak to me
Yeah.
as like a person, I guess, not like this S&D kid. It's like they refer to me as Kenny, like yo Kenny, like blah 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 blah. Like I said, I didn't play with a lot of them. I knew a lot of them. Um, just didn't play with them. So joining the call and having people like pick me first and stuff like that
Yeah.
was kind of dope for sure. Like I said, I never came into it wanting to play for the win.
Hmm.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I played for the money because, like I said, I was so broke at the time, and, and like becoming the best was like it became a thing whenever we started playing 2Ks and scrimming. But when I first joined the team, I wasn't even looking for that.
It's an interesting point actually. Like because earlier you spoke about working in the arcade before you went pro.
Hmm.
And even back in World War II, salaries weren't super high. Not especially not like they are now, right? Nothing, not even close. Especially under Team Caliber. But I've just realised, like, I was just looking at the thing here. Essentially, like 4v4, it was an $80,000 prize pool. I don't know what the prize pool split with PK was. We went from making 300 in an arcade, to essentially in the space of a couple of months having won 160,000 in prize money, obviously split between your
Right.
team. Did that have an effect on like your home life or people who were like, "Are you sure you should be doing this?" Or because that's like a significant life changing amount of money just to kick things off.
Like I said, I'm Asian. I'm half Asian, so my Asian family, my mom was okay with it. My mom's Asian. My family, like my aunts and everything, weren't okay with me leaving school. So they were mad about me joining for the 1K. Um, I mean, we talk, we're still cool, but I don't have a really close relationship with them anymore. I actually used
Okay.
to live with them during my high school year. I talk to them now, but like I said, we're not really as close as we used to be just because of me leaving school for gaming. Like a lot of issues there. After I won back to back and posted about my money, how much I made, it was kind of like, oh, hey, 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 like, and then like I mean, as much as I have love for them,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't really support it at first. My mom and my dad are full support going in, and my sister. My sister's a big supporter. She's like my number one fan. But like I said, having the Asian side of the family that wants you to go and do like this, especially with my aunt being like a pharmacist and stuff
Yeah.
like that, that's what I was going to school for was being to be a pharmacist. And yeah, it just like it changed everything. Like I was able to pay for stuff my mom couldn't pay for. I was able to do stuff that I never thought I could do. I instantly moved into my own crib at 18. That's a lot. That's the thing. Like a lot of people can't even say. Like a lot of people still live with their parents. Like that's not a bad thing. I wished I'd lived my. I wish I would have chose living with my parents than picking my own crib because paying rent is not it. Um, but yeah, I got to like live on my own, and I feel like that matured me really fast. Like
Uh-huh.
um, that's one thing that's big is like I feel like a lot of no offense again. A lot of gamers are pretty immature, really immature. But it like living on your own can really, 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 really take a toll on your like age, like
Yeah.
as in like your mental age, because like you never know what you can't do, what you actually don't slash can't do until you live on your own and don't have your mom. That's a big thing for sure. That is a really big thing, especially because like I'm a mama's boy. Like my mom would do anything for me. Like I hit my mama for everything. Anything bad happening, I call mom instantly. But like I said, I had to learn a lot. I had to like start doing a lot, like stuff like that. And like so I feel like if people given the opportunity to live on their own early is really big for like maturity levels. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend it because rent, like I said, rent is not it.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. So let's move on for those that comes as life changing, your life changing foray into being a professional player. Which, like I said, we had to start there. For me, it's so fascinating how you kind of explode onto the scene. The
Hmm.
rest of the year, though, this I feel like from the highs of the first two event, it fell off a cliff essentially. Because I remember being around in these days. It's only a couple of years
Right.
ago. The storylines behind you then, and it started kind of not going well. What happened from back to back to, and I think it was top eight, back to back top eights by the look of it, then
Hmm.
top 12. What kind of happened after those winning periods? What changed? Did people catch up? What happened?
No, as generic as it sounds, we got complacent. Um, Won the first two events. Going to I didn't get it. And so this is how it worked. Everybody thought I should have got an MVP at both events, both the first events. But I
Yeah.
think that Lamar and Sheen 1000% deserved it. Um, and so going to Atlanta, I grinded. I grinded so hard because I'm like, this is my MVP moment. Like, this is where we go back to back to back. I get my MVP. Damn, it's Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta at the time at the TK house. So I'm like, it's Atlanta. I'm about to go crazy. Oh no, not what happened. I went crazy. I was actually I was frying. We lost to Red Reserve Doctors at the tournament, I think. But we shouldn't have lost to them. I was frying. But not to expose people, and it's obviously like late now, but like what happened was Theory got fried. Not blame it all on him, but he got fried. Our team kind of like Lamar and Theory had like a little beef going on before this. Even before the first event, before we won, they had like a little. It was like a little only them, like me and Cheen chilling. Um, but like after this event, Theory texted us and like, "Yo, I cost it. Like I'm gonna grind harder. Like I'm gonna grind harder. We're gonna win the next event. Blah blah blah." We go home. I live with him. He's playing Madden and Zombies only. Sims. And I'm
Not the
like,
grind you're expecting. Yeah.
hold up. Like, yo. And then we from then we were just so much worse. And like we had Birmingham. I fried at Birmingham, but everybody sees that as an asterisk event too because of the monitors. I was frying. The stats show for sure. Um, a lot of people were saying that I played on like the PS4. That was like the god boss of the event. Maybe actually, but uh,
Those things always wind me up at events,
yeah.
man. It's like professional players. All professional players I've ever met, right,
Uh
are,
huh.
are hyper competitive, like super focused people. Like and even
Hmm.
even a complacent professional, right, is still
Right.
probably more focused than most normal people because they're entering into that world and they just want to win. Why, why do pro players always try and find something wrong with any
I
event? Every event, it's like, oh man, this feels a little bit weird to me. I was like, why are people putting asterisks on every event?
Yeah. I mean that's true. That event was like odd though. Like those monitors, like you had to go in and like do some crazy settings just to
Yeah,
like get it to look okay. Um, I wouldn't say that wasn't the best event. I mean, I wouldn't say that was the best event or even a good
yeah, yeah,
event. I just think that I wanted to win at that point. Like I'm trying to win anything. Like if this is an asterisk event, let's win this because obviously we suck at the good ones, you know. But our team's already having talks about having changes,
yeah,
and obviously Theory was the odd man out. And so going into S1, we were like, bro, we don't win this or at least get top two, we got to make a change.
yeah.
Which we go into the S1, we're playing against FaZe, and we're in CTF flag tower. We're like, we're going into overtime versus phase. We're like, yo, Theory has streaks. Lamar said this at least 20 times, maybe even 100. He said, yo, if we get wiped and Dylan, you are last alive, he said, make sure you are last alive. Do not die. If you are last alive, you insta streak. You make sure you use every streak you have. He said this at least 100 times. I am not even lying. He said it so many times that I was like, damn, okay. Well, he's gonna streak. Like he might even mess up the streak. Maybe just call it in too early. At this point, they get us 3 dead. Dylan he's the last person alive. The flag carrier's running right in front of him. He doesn't streak. He jump instead of he jumps out, shoots his gun, and gets shot in the back. We
Oh.
lose. And at that moment, he was dropped. Literally, he was gone. At that moment, he was gone.
Oh,
And like
damn.
we all felt it. We all felt it because he was like even like my bad, my bad. Like we just all felt it. It was just like a blow to like the stomach.
Yeah.
It was so hurtful. I'm like, bro, he told you a million times. Like I felt so bad because I'm like, he's gone. Like even if I wanted him on the team, it seemed like he was gone. But like what happened was we were actually wanting to keep Cheen, but Cheen couldn't pick on who he wanted to play with. Cheen really felt bad about dropping Dylan
Yeah.
for Theory, and he kind of was so like hesitant on it that me and Lamar thought that we should just go our own way.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That's when you changed up, right? You went with, let's have a look,
yeah,
Pharaoh Methods. But
yep.
only one event, though. Only one event.
So what happened was we actually wanted to play with Temp. We wanted to pick up Temp. That was
Okay.
supposed to be our third for sure, but we needed another main AR because like that game you ran two, and for some reason, Methods Zenny didn't want to play with Donnie. He like told us like, I will not join your team if Donnie's on the team. And we're like, yo, like, what's good with Donnie? Like, and at the time, it's kind of funny because Pharaoh wasn't even seen as good or anything like that, and he picked to like play with Pharaoh over Donnie.
Yeah.
And obviously it worked out. Jay's one of my best friends too, Pharaoh. Um, but Zenny joined Optic right after that event, that one event, which we got like top four, top six, one of those. Um, but yeah, I don't think Zenny was a good match for our team anyways. I personally, and like no offense to him, but I personally felt like obviously now, but I felt like we should have went with Jay, Pharaoh, and Donnie, like those two.
Yeah.
Because as we started playing with Pharaoh, we realized like this guy needs to be a flex. Like he cannot run a main sub. Like it got to points where like he would like sit in like AR spots, like Lamar spots with a
Yeah.
sub, and Lamar would just rage at him, just go all in, just rage. And so when we picked him in Naval, our switch to Jay being an AR and Naval being a sub, it made it like 10 times better. Like our team was just it felt way smoother. Like we were like the TK team that won the first two events. Like
Yeah.
yeah, but funny
And
thing too. This is a funny thing. A lot of people don't know this story because it obviously wasn't streamed, but we took a big break for that. And when we picked up a naval, our first day of scrims, I had like not played the game for like 2 weeks. So I get on, I get on. I am getting fried, and I'm also playing at my mom's place. Like I was moving back home at this time,
yeah.
and I was waiting for my apartment to be ready. I am getting fried. My mom doesn't have good internet. I'm lagging, and I went like 12 and 40 against Rise on
Oh.
Ardennes Forest, and I'm like, Lamar's raging like, what are we doing? Like, blah, 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 blah. I know we haven't been playing, but what the fuck are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, I'm lagging. We haven't been playing. He's like, that's no excuse. He was like, Gunless just went superstar mode on us. And that pissed me off. I was like, shut up, shut up. And we're just yelling. This is the first day, and they like Ian has like ever joined our team or like played with
Yeah.
us, and me and Lamar just at our top of our lungs, just yelling at each other. And Ian's just sitting in the background like, yo, what's going on? And me and Lamar just like yelling, yelling. And it's just so funny to this day because every time Ian tells a story, he's like, bro, I thought I was. He's like, Ian was like, I was getting fried that day. I can't believe nobody noticed it. Like I thought I was getting dropped, and I'm like, bro, I didn't even think nothing of it because that's how like me and Lamar got. Like me and Lamar get heated yelling. It's the
Uh-huh.
same me and Austin now. Like, but it's like different. We can yell at each other and get back to playing the next map. But yeah,
Okay.
that's just me.
It's interesting you bring this up, right? Because I feel like I want to talk about this because this, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is the era of you started getting into arguments on Twitter, and especially like towards Maven, and there was a whole thing about obviously the pressure was on you at this point because you went from
Right.
winning championships to some lackluster performances, admittedly, right? Even with this team, Anaheim
Mhm.
not great either. Um, do you feel like that was maybe because you went straight to winning and then all of a sudden you're not having those results? You just felt like lashing out a bit, or what happened?
100%. 100%. Like I said, I came in with the S&D mentality. I had like this big ego, especially winning the first two events. I'm like, I'm the best player in the game.
Yeah.
Um, but like at the time, we just felt like any conversation that was brought up, they brought up us on how bad we sucked. And like it was so ironic. It would be like anytime I would turn the stream on and I kind of like tilted me. But at the time, it was just because of my ego.
Yeah.
Obviously now it wouldn't like bother me because it's just what you're supposed to talk about on the like on the analyst desk, stuff like that, just
Yeah.
on the cast. Like you should be talking about that. But like Rise would be playing Optic. They'd be like, well, TK sucks. It's like
No, I can see how that's tilting.
Rise versus Optic. Like where that and that would happen. I'm not gonna lie on that. I definitely don't think I should have lashed out on Twitter. I think that was just an immature part of me. Um, like this new kid coming to the scene, didn't really know about like didn't really have like the effect of like being bad. And I think that that's what obviously not to skip the whole conversation, but I think that the beginning of the Black Ops 4 year was big for me because I sucked. You know, you got to learn how to like get back to that winning mentality and like regain and like get better. Like I went into BO4 thinking I was the best player in the game. Like nobody's messing with me. I sucked. Simple as that.
Yeah.
I couldn't run grapple. I couldn't run a SOG. I sucked, and like I needed that. I needed that moment. I feel like a lot of people start off on highs and can't get back whenever
Yeah.
they suck or whenever they're at a low. They just can't get. They just all they think about is, oh, what did I used to do? Like that's not. It's like the thing. Everything's changing. But yeah, I think that was really an immature part of me that just lashed out, and we just like I said, it was just ironic that anytime I would turn the stream on to watch any other match, they'd just be like, TK sucks. I'm like, okay, well, I don't understand. Uh,
No, I can see how that's crazy frustrating, right? Like,
mm,
I think for me it was interesting to see it from the outside point of view because obviously I'm sure you and I think Maven even said you kind of settled it backstage and you talked to
oh
each other
yeah.
about it and all that sort of stuff. And I remember I even remember making some sort of really weirdly edited video where you killed where it was against Echo Fox. It must have been TK versus Echo Fox, and you got the 4-piece to basically win the game.
Mhm.
And I ended up making some ridiculous bullshit fucking edit of it with Maven's face on all four of them players.
Yeah.
But it was like it was so interesting to see this because essentially, like I said, well, while I'd seen you before, years ago in 2015, kind of watching your performances and coming in, and I never really knew you on a personal level, right? I think you said
Right.
hello at events and stuff. I was also like, well, what is this guy actually like behind the scenes, and same thing for the public, right? The public
Yeah.
only get to see snapshots of you either on stage where you're not talking as your personality,
Mhm.
or your social media. And for a lot of
Yeah.
people, it was almost at that time easy to dislike you because they didn't know you. If that,
Exactly. I feel like that's a big thing too. I at the time didn't realize how big social media was, especially like I didn't think like this is how people only see me. Like this is how people only know me. They only know me through the Call of Duty screen where I'm playing, where they can't really see what my personality is. They just see me playing Call of Duty.
yeah,
And then there's social media where it's like, oh, this is your personality. This is what you think. This is what you like to
yeah,
do. This is what you don't do. This is where your ego shines right here. And I feel like in World War II, that kind of like hurt. It didn't hurt my reputation. I mean, it kind of did because, like I said, a lot of people I feel like a lot of people like put me up against Scump when I didn't even say anything about Scump. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like, oh, Scump's just a better sub. Maybe he's just a new Scump. Like that type of thing. I never wanted to be the new Scump. I just wanted to be
yeah,
me,
yeah.
you
That
know?
happens a lot, like a
Exactly.
lot.
Like now it happens with Simp. It's like nobody wants to be the new Scump. Like people don't understand that. And it's like nobody wants to take the spotlight off Scump. Like good player, major player, one of the best of all time. Like, you know, you can't really argue that. I would never like disrespect somebody that has more championships than me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like and at the time, I didn't disrespect nobody. I just thought my team was better than everybody's team. Like I don't care how bad we suck. We're getting top 8, top 12. Thought we were the best team in the game. I don't care. Like that's just how you have to look at your team. You know, you can't really go on Twitter or anything like that saying like
yeah.
y'all suck. So I think I don't know where everybody sees my ego in World War II coming from. Obviously the thing with Maven
I
kind of
think it blew
showed
it
like
up.
how I felt. Yeah, it kind of blew it up for sure. But I went on what blew our beef with me and Maeve. Well, it wasn't really beef, but what blew the whole conversation on Twitter was when he did the little pregame show, or whatever, and
Yep.
we talked about it. And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm taking a curse off you." And it's so ironic because he said, "I'm taking a curse off y'all," like blah blah blah. Like I'm done talking, and we end up winning the next event. Literally the next event, S2. We were there for S2. We end up winning the event. And yeah, I don't. I mean, I can see where people get the ego part from, but a lot of people put me up against Optic during the time, like, oh, Kenny hates Optic, Kenny hates Jump. It's like, and like me and Seth would talk after events, and we're like, I don't know where this is coming from. Like, we're cool, like we were cool. Like, it's so funny. Like, we were hella cool. We were talking at events. Like, I think Birmingham, we chilled. Like, we're like at the bar. Obviously, I was 18 at the time, but you can drink 18 legally there. But we're at the bar chilling. We're just like, bro, I don't know, like why are people comparing us like that type of thing. And I feel like fans just want me to have this big ego, and I
Yeah.
kind of adapted to it now. Like, I don't, I don't really use Twitter for other things other than like responding to people.
Yeah.
I don't really do that stuff anymore. I mean, it's kind of immature, but like at the time, I had to realize like this is how people only see me. It's through
Yeah.
my social media, through my Twitter, my Instagrams, like stuff like that. And so I had to realize that, and I feel like that moment with Maven was a big part of like me leveling up in my maturity levels for sure.
No, 100%. And obviously, like the end of the year went a little bit better. Not as good as you would have liked, obviously,
Oh,
because that was, you went into stage two playoffs, ended up winning stage two playoffs. Big win.
yeah,
It kind of announced the return of TK. Like, hey, this has not just been a fluke first couple of events. They still have it in. Kenny
right.
still got everything he needs to have to be, a future phenom, Hall of Fame, whatever. That's the way you were talked about, right?
Hmm.
I want to talk about the World Championship, and it's always frustrating. Well, I said not frustrating is the right way. It's always difficult to talk to pro players about world championships that they haven't won, because obviously of just how much we put onto the world championship, and a second is always going to hurt the most.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, that world championship still nobody really knew that EG were going to win it ever. But take me to the world championship, because those are always the events pros remember.
Um. Well, to be honest, we should have been out at that event on the Thursday. It started on Wednesday. We were supposed to be out on the Thursday. We lost to Lightning Pandas, ironically, because Theory McGee, we dropped him and he ended up beating us in groups. And then we're playing Heretics to make it out. Like, if we lose the Heretics, we're out. And I think we went down 1-2. Like, we won the first map, and then second map, I was frying. I think we were up 5-2. I had like 12 kills. We ended up getting comeback done. I was like, oh no. We went down 1-2. We ended up beating them last map, I think. Or something like that. And then we ended up messing up in groups. So we ended up playing the first seed of like another group. And that just so happened to be Rise. And so going into winners round one, we're playing Rise. We're
Yeah,
like, but we've had their number all year, but it's like, damn, like, this is a
the big team.
hard,
Yeah,
yeah. And the brackets come out, and the top side of the bracket has the easiest bracket of all time, and then bottom side is just like us, Rise, LG, Optic, like, or not Optic, but LG, United, like, it's just hard bottom side of the bracket. And we're like, what? How did this happen? But like I said, going up against Rise, we were really confident, really really confident because like I said, we had their number all year. I think the only time we lost to them that whole year was in like a league match. Literally, we beat them at like every event, even the event they won, we beat them in pools. Um, but yeah, and we were really confident. We were flying by until that winners finals against the EG. We thought we were about to fry them. I think that was another case of us being complacent. To be honest, we went into
yeah,
that thinking we already won, and we didn't already win. And EG, honestly, EG was on a different level. To be honest, I personally thought Pharaoh was literally the best player in the game after like during S2
yeah.
to the end of the game. He was unbelievably good. Like, that guy's so talented, it's crazy. But EG was just playing the game well, and that was one of those cases where like they weren't really outslaying us; they were just outplaying us. Like, it felt like I couldn't do anything on the map. They weren't letting, like, I was good at like sneaking by, getting around people. I couldn't do anything. Anywhere I went, they were watching it. I had to win some crazy gunfight to even like come close to the hard point, and they just outplayed us, to be honest. And I think the maps also came into play. I don't think we should have played them on Jibby and Grand Finals, something like that. But um, yeah, I mean that World Championship was heartbreaking for me. It's like I'm like we are the favorites. We beat the other favorites. If there
Yeah.
was another favorite, we beat that team first round. They're out. How do we lose this? And honestly, losers finals versus phase, we should have lost. Pharaoh went big in S&D. He got a 1v2. I got a 1v2. And then fourth map, I went absolutely berserk. And then we ended up with a fifth map. But to be honest, I feel like I trolled because going into the grand finals, I had no energy. I didn't take no more caffeine. I was just off the caffeine. I was off that day. And doing a losers bracket, like winning a losers bracket is just so like exhausting that in grand finals, I literally felt like I was gonna fall asleep. I was so tired. I was out of it. I was really hoping to get carried. Really hoping to get carried.
it,
I didn't play like terribly, but like I could have. I didn't play me for sure.
Now, I understand that. I think people always forget when they speak about these loser bracket runs, right? The amount of games you have to play. But some people say, "Oh, we don't play enough Call of Duty in this current format." I'm like, trust me, when
Yeah,
you're playing too many games, it's hard to play at that kind of
it's
level.
really really hard because a lot of people think that Call of Duty is all shooting your gun, looking at a screen.
Yeah.
I tell a lot of people I think it's 60-40. I think it's 60% mentally, like mental, and like 40% shooting your gun. Everything that shooting anybody can shoot their gun. I can go up against anybody right now, amateur, and they can shoot as well as me.
Mhm.
That's not why I'm a pro compared to them being an amateur.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mental. It's a lot of strategy, a lot of like mental cases where like people get nervous. Like and stuff like that. Nerves come to play. Just like thinking straight, stuff like that. Like you can't have a bad mental and be playing good Call of Duty. Like MW season was big for me. I didn't play no good Call of Duty until the champs. That's because my whole mental that whole year was just off. Like you can't have a like I said, you just can't have a bad mental, and people forget that part. People just think it's just look at your screen, shoot your gun straight. That's not it. It's never just that easy. So um yeah, I think that played a big part into like I said, being complacent, also like a bad mental, like that stuff like that. So
No, I understand it completely. I mean, I remember that champion very well because nobody had picked EG to win or even come close to winning. And then even when they had won, people were going, "Are we sure?" Like that's crazy. Like they just not really hit the radar
yeah.
as much. And funny enough, I get to speak to Silly next week. Well, yeah, that was crazy. Let's talk about because you took a big transition here to technically the second iteration of 100 Thieves, right?
Hmm.
Very popular team. Ended up being an incredibly popular brand in Call. Big
Yeah.
step up into 5v5. Let's talk about that then. Leaving TK, the team who kind of brought you into your professional career properly, and
Mm.
going to 100 Thieves. At the time, kind of a new organization. It's something that people were like, "Well, is this a good move? Are they going to hang around? They've already had a disastrous launch.
Mhm.
Is it good this time?"
So funny, and another ironic moment in my career is that I actually was supposed to join Immortals before 100 Thieves.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I was talking to Immortals first, but then when I got a DM from Nade Shot, which I didn't talk to Nade before that. I got a DM from Nade Shot, and he was like, "Yo, I want you on 100 Thieves. Like, I want you to be this guy." I was like, "I'm down."
I'm in.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm in," and yeah, it felt good to join that team for sure because like they were coming back in, they were a whole new team, like whole new brand, but um yeah, it just felt good, and because they understood who I wanted to play with. It kind of sucked because they told me I was able to pick the team I wanted to play with, pick the team I wanted to have, and they didn't let me. They did, but they didn't. Um, I told them. I told them I would play with Pharaoh again, but I obviously wanted to play with other players. And then like one day they just announced Pharaoh, and I didn't even know. I'm like, oh real?
Okay.
Like, and I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel bad. I was like, I just didn't even know. Like, and yeah, joining that team with the new faces, like playing new faces, being able to play with three-fourths of our TK team, I thought it was gonna go well. Now I'm like, we got Sam and Austin. We got three-fourths of our TK team, which just won a championship and got second.
Yeah.
How do we lose?
Well,
Well,
yeah, it turns out you did learn, and I think that was a little bit of a
exactly.
shock for people, right, as well, because
Oh,
even
100%.
even if you now, right, just go and look at that team on paper, you're sitting there going, that team should be frying. Like
Yeah,
absolutely frying. What happened? Was it just one of those ones where, as you said earlier, you didn't learn the game enough, or you thought you'd known it well enough, but it turns out you didn't?
it was definitely one of those cases. Because going into this team, Austin wanted us to play it a certain way,
Yeah,
and Jay wanted to play a different way. And also, like I said, I feel like grapple was really bad for me. I don't think I should have been running grapple. I don't think the SOG was the problem. I think the problem was that I had to run grapple and like run it, like grapple in, do all that extra stuff. I wasn't really that type of player. I'm not really this cracked player.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think that, like I said, they had two different ways of wanting to play the game, and that kind of hurt us, to be honest. Like Jay would just randomly pull out an ICR whenever he wanted. It's like you can't really do that. And so, um, I think that really hurt us, to be honest. Like I said, we never had a wave of playing the game because we had one player not one like one player wanted to play this way. We had one player wanted to play this way. We had everybody else lost on who we wanted to play, like who we wanted to which way we wanted to play. So
yeah,
at this moment, we didn't have one way of playing the game. We were just running around trying to get kills, which is what we weren't doing because we weren't good at the game either. Um, and like I think this was the pivotal moment in Jay's career too, because like I said, he joined a top tier team in World War II because TK was considered a top tier team, and I
yeah,
think that's the same as me. Like he joined, we instantly won. Um, and in Black Ops 4, he had a crazy ego to the point where like um damn, I just lost my train of thought. But he had a crazy like ego to the point where
yeah.
like he didn't want to change what he was doing because he was playing well. Not he
Ah,
didn't want to change
the
for the better of the
KD
team.
mentality, right?
Yeah, and I'm not roasting Jay. Jay's one of my best friends, but like Austin wanted Jay to run a SOG because they wanted to try me on the Maddox, and he didn't want to run a SOG. And so he was like, "I'm not running a SOG," and we had Austin Slasher running a SOG for like a week. That might have been the worst practice we ever had. But yeah, it's just like you got to do what's better for the team. You know, you want to win. I think Jay knows that now, but during the Black Ops 4 season, it was like different.
Yeah,
He didn't want to give it to Maddox. He was actually playing pretty well, but he didn't feel like he was a problem. And so going into the qualifiers, I still sucked ass, but I didn't run a Maddox at all. I didn't as funny as people remember. Some people remember, quote unquote. I got fried at the first event. Not true at all. I had a 1.0 at the first event. But guess what? I pulled out a Maddox 90% of the time. I ran a Maddox like 90% of the time because I couldn't run the SOG. But I didn't get fried. I had a 1.0, but I just got fried at the qualifier. That was the worst event I've ever had. I had like a point 0.7 or something like that.
do you think
Um,
it's because people have such high expectations? Like I said, your career, your trajectory of your career has always been. You started so hot, like I said. You know, we haven't even talked about you actually winning console rookie of the year yet. We'll talk
oh
about that in
yeah,
a second.
yeah.
You know, you basically come on as a phenom. And whenever you do anything less than godlike, you just seem to get like talked down, like you've had a really bad time.
So this is the funny thing about that. I don't know what people remember, but I guess people remember just my plays. I never had a good KD in World War II. I never had a KD over a 1.05 except for Birmingham. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like a 1.05 is like okay, that's good, but it's not like crazy. I mean MW and Black Ops 4, I had way better KDs like at Fort Worth and like Anaheim and London. Oh, not London, but Fort Worth and Anaheim. I had like 1.2s, 1.3s. Like that's crazy. And so I feel like people had this like crazy like fried mentality. I guess they wanted to see the highlight plays.
Yeah.
Like I said, my KD wasn't really crazy in World War II, so I don't know if like people are basing my performance off my KD and stuff like that. But I definitely think that's a big thing. Like when you come off hot as I did, you definitely have to try to match it. It's like the same with like anything. Whenever an artist or a music artist comes out, they drop a banger. You gotta like beat that banger. It's like, well, can you? And like that's how like I guess one game wonders like come out, and everybody thought it was one game wonder because of that World War II season and
Yeah.
like how Black Ops 4 started for me. But like I said, Black Ops 4 didn't start too bad for me. It started bad for our team. I just had a 1.0
Yeah.
and I had a point 0.7, which everybody has a bad event, but the point 0.7 was just ridiculous. Like I was at an all-time low mentally. Like I was like, I suck ass. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm playing the game. I just don't know what's going on. Like I feel like I'm so lost in the map that I don't even know where people are coming from, and that was because, like I said, our team didn't have a way of playing the game. We didn't even know how to play against people. Like we didn't even know what other people were doing. Austin felt like he knew what we wanted to do. Jay also felt like he knew what we were supposed to do. We didn't have a good mesh, so that kind of sucked for us. And then, like I said, the qualifiers happened. They felt like we need to make a change. Nate and Eric called me, my dog, and said, "It's either you or Jay. Y'all both gotta go. Like one of y'all gotta go."
Wow. Okay.
And I'm like, at
Damn.
this point, I'm like, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm looking to join other teams. I'm gone. And then they call me back a few hours later. They're like, "Yo, the team chose you. They want you to run a Maddox. Are you okay with that?" I was like, "Hell yeah! Like, I'm just glad to be on the team. Like, I don't care what I run." And then that's where it started. And we still sucked. We picked up Preston and stuff like that. We still sucked for like a month or so. And we just grinded, to be honest. And like it came to the point where like Chris, Replays, and Austin both had the same way of wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
We all listened to both of them, and our team found a way to play the game. Now we just need to slay and execute.
Okay. Speaking of like, because we'll get onto these highs again in a second, but obviously we just had the
Mhm.
low, and I forgot to mention, I got to talk about the fact that you won Console Rookie of the Year, and it's so fresh in my mind because people don't know this, but the voting's actually just happened for this year's.
Mhm.
But obviously, you know, you went to the event. You know, I ended up using the thumbnail, a picture of you in a tux and stuff.
Yeah.
What was that like being recognized for an industry award? Right, it's outside of the Call of Duty bubble. You know, there are people who haven't even met you or watched a ton of you,
Mhm.
and they're then looking over your credentials, purely professional
Yeah.
thing, just to nominate you for this award. I've always said is a big thing. What
It's
was
a
it? What was it?
crazy thing.
Yeah, what was it like going to that kind of event?
So it was crazy for sure because the event was in London. So we're like, whoa, me and I'm like, I have a plus one. Like, who should I take? My sister wants to go. I'm like, okay, like we're going to London. Like, we're just so happy to go to London. I'm like, I hope I win this. I'm like, there's no way I got invited to go to London and I don't win. Like, and so just being nominated, I'm like, bro, I'm hyped. But like at the time too, I was kind of pissed because like I think Ashy Brandon tweeted out saying like vote for me, and he was and like he was like joining Optic. He like joined Optic at the time. This
Yeah,
is like during the off season. So you know Optic fans are gonna just vote for him just because you know
yeah.
Optic. And I'm like, you didn't even do anything in World War II. Why do you want to win Council Rookie of the Year? And but that was me at the time. But
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way they invited me because they didn't invite any other player from that. So I'm like, "Yeah, I have to win. I'm so I'm good friends with people on at the Esports Awards, like all of them. And yeah, it's just a crazy event. Like I got to dress up. I normally don't dress up. Like, and I got to be in London. You know, it just felt amazing. Amazing to be honest. Everybody was so friendly. There's a lot of people I never thought I would talk to. Like I met so many people. I got to network with a lot of people. Like people just I've looked up to in the industry. Like coming through the industry. Like just playing. Like starting. Like I watch streamers. I watch YouTube videos. Like all these people. I know these people from their YouTube videos and their streams, but I never met them.
And now you're at
And
an
this is where
event
I
in
met
a
them.
tux, and they're all there,
Yeah,
and you
and
got an
I'm meeting
award
them,
as
talking to them,
well.
and I'm like, this is just crazy to me. Like, what? I was just making $300 at an arcade, and now I'm console rookie of the year, and it's like that was just an insane moment for me. Me and my sister were just so happy, to be honest.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've always said, you know, I've so funny enough, you know, I am part of the Esports Awards panel, right? I'm on that panel. I have been for 5 years, and it's interesting that people, because so I'm actually making a video right now, and I'm digressing here, but to explain kind of what goes on, because when you brought up the point about Dashy saying, "Oh, the public vote," that's something that I've been working not against, but to make sure it doesn't overstretch it. So
Hmm.
even and in some occasions, it's actually got better this year because they're taking extra steps to make sure that it is a very fair process, right? But
Right,
technically, it shouldn't ever happen that the panel who look at things like your impact and you know what you've done over the year and all this sort of stuff shouldn't really be over by the public. The public's more of like a to help differentiate between people close.
right.
But yeah, so when you say that, it's like you're probably sitting there going, "Oh, damn, you know, socials is going to really kill me here." Fortunately,
Yeah.
there are safeguards. There are safeguards to
Oh
make sure that
yeah.
people, you know, I've been in this week alone, right? I've been in like 3 2 3 hour calls with like members of the industry discussing these players at length. about who awards it. So it isn't like it's not a small thing to be nominated, and it's definitely not a small thing to end up winning it because there is a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that goes on in the background to win it. So yeah, that's why I wanted to cover it because it is, like I said, one of the big parts of your career, right? Is that you're
Mm,
always going to have that achievement, and not a lot of
for
players
sure.
get it.
100%. I feel like, but like, it is a good moment in my career. I just feel like people look for me to play like my World War II year, and I don't think people understand that like the talent has gotten way harder. And there's way more talent nowadays. Like, and like I obviously got to step up my game. I'm very I know like, but I feel like my Black Ops 4 year was really 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 good. Like except for the first month or two, I played well the whole rest of the year. MW, unfortunate. Won't talk about it. Like, I mean, we can talk about it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't
I
like
will get
I
to
like to,
that.
I try to forget it. But, yeah, I think Console Rookie of the Year was a big moment for me. Like, I guess I got to talk to a lot of new people. I got recognized by a lot of new people. Like, I never thought I would talk to. Um, I got to hang out with people that I never thought I'd hang out with, like stuff like that. It was just fun, and like they had stuff for us to do. And I'm good friends with Warren. Warren runs stuff like was running stuff over there. I don't know if he still is, but uh, yeah, Warren's like one of my good friends, and like he just made it really like fun. I got to do fun stuff, and I'm getting recognized for being one of the best Call of Duty players in the world. What
All good.
like you can't ask for nothing else, and like you know what I'm saying. Like I get to do it with my sister too, so it's like my sister's like my best friend. Like I tell my sister everything. Like she knows everything. Like I said, she's like my number one fan. So I had to do it with her. That was fun, amazing. And after that, I was just ready to get into. And then the funny thing is, I think Black Ops 4 was out at during the like the awards, and
Yeah.
they were trying to my team was trying to scrim, and we couldn't scrim because I was going to that. But like obviously they not understood. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a really fun moment.
Ah, that's awesome. So let's go. So we had to go back and cover that. Let's jump back forward in time again, right? Because I want to talk
Okay.
about you did well at Fort Worth, top four. Then
Yep.
you went to London. Now London is a special event for me because I was there in the crowd, and I know as well as you probably know what it was like to win on that main stage because that is not a subtle crowd to win against, right? Um,
Mm.
how did that feel being on that stage with, admittedly, several thousand drunk English fans? You know, there was that they were enjoying themselves, and you know they got behind 100 Thieves and you.
It felt good because to be honest, we played against Reciprocity and we were getting booed the whole time. And we're like, and like the power of something went out, and the internet went out in the venue. I went to go to the restroom. I'm walking past the fans in the restroom. They're just booing me on the way to the restroom. I'm like, God dang, you can't do anything in this venue. Like, and like, I wasn't like mad about it. It's like it's fun. It's like, dang, like that's just crazy. Like this crowd is like so energetic and so like engaged. It's like it's crazy. Like, and so like winning versus them, especially my moment, like that moment, like the optic moment, the window moment on Arsenal
Yeah,
was crazy. Like whenever you have moments like that in front of a crowd that's so engaged and so hype, it's like thrilling. It like sends like a whole like good feeling through your body. It's just I don't know, you get chills because like we wear the you wear the headsets
yeah.
soundproof ones that you're not supposed to be able to hear anything, but when a crowd gets that loud, you hear like they are way way loud, so we hear them yelling and like you just know if like if you don't have any kill like if nobody's killing on your team and you hear the crowd, that means somebody on your team got fried. And so it's like, dang. Well, like when it's happening on your side and you hear the crowd, it's like, oh, you're getting hype. Like you can just tell the team other teams feeling the same way. Like, damn, we just got fried. And so yeah, London was big. Like I said, we won in front of we like I converted the fans to fans, actual fans. Like
Yeah.
they were way against us because, like I said, we're playing at Reciprocity. That's like their team. That's understandable. We beat them. They became they became less buoy for us at least. They definitely didn't want us to win, but after winning, it felt good. Um,
I think it was. I've always said it was. It's one of the things. Like I think it went reciprocity, and then they supported E United. The crowd just decided to support E
yeah,
United. But then when you won, it was like you know what? They're all here for a good time, and they're just going to cheer you like this. They're just counting 100 Thieves. They're talking about players. They're screaming, running it up. Like it was just impressive to see that kind of just constant pounding of like noise and support coming out. And obviously, it was 100 Thieves' first actual championship win for this
Yeah.
organization. So it's like so many things kind of combined to for you essentially. Because if I actually went back and looked, you hadn't won since in quite a while. I think it was
Yeah.
almost a year. It was 10 months since the last championship. And so you're back on form and back at the top.
Right.
And then obviously back to back, you go straight to Anaheim and kind of do it again. And
Anaheim was a
Anaheim's supposed to be a massive event as well, right? Like it's supposed to be
yeah.
huge.
We dominated that one though. I think we lost like 3 or 4 maps or something like that. We were like 24-3 or something like that. Um, that event was kind of boring. Not gonna lie. Not say like it was just boring because like I said, we just fried it. Like you want to win it more like a close match like London. Like London was a little. Nah, never mind. London wasn't really that close in grand finals, but it was just like really fun to win in front of that crowd.
Yeah.
Like I said, Anaheim wasn't boring like fans wise. It was just boring like competitive wise. And we played Genji 3 times that event. We beat them all 3 times. Like it was just kind of boring. So
That's fair.
it London's definitely my favorite win for sure of all time. Like it's my favorite because of like the crowd and everything. But yeah, I mean we were at an all time high. Our team just like we thought we were clicking. We thought we were a new dynasty. Like this is our team. Like who can stop us? To be honest.
Yeah.
And they came out with a SOG update that made the SOG better. We're like,
the developers can stop you.
yeah,
That's
we're
who it
like,
is.
who thought of this? Like the game was at a good point. Like we thought the game was at a good point. We definitely didn't agree with the SOG update. Like,
Yeah, that's when they moved to the
eh,
hit scan, right? That's when it's
yeah,
like, oh, it's an okay SMG, great for shot punching, but hey, get ready to have a better Sorg meta. I almost don't want to go into this next part. I feel like we're in a really good place. Okay, so the next kind of like the playoffs wasn't fantastic for you. Obviously
mhm,
coming off back to back wins. But we're gonna talk about the next World Championship because I feel like we have to. And
gotcha.
again, and this is another second. I hate it, but we have to talk about it.
Yep.
2019 World Championship. You came second that time around. United, a team that you had beaten before, but they had basically they just clicked that time, right?
Yeah.
So take me through your World Championship 2019.
Well, we started our first round trolling. We made the groups easily. And we played LG first round because I think they messed up in groups, ended up losing in second, and we ended up trolling versus them. Like we just didn't even look like a team. Like we were so bad against them that it just looked ridiculous. I don't. I think where it started was that I don't think we really took like we went to Gen G before champs, like the Gen G facility to
Yeah.
like practice with Gen G, E United, another team. I can't think of the other team, but one more other team. And I don't think we took that as serious as we thought we should have, to be honest, especially after getting fried at Miami. We should have taken that more serious for sure. Um, but yeah, we got fried by LG, and then
Was it
at
like a
this,
big moment for you? Like, oh crap, this is our champs run. This is serious.
yeah, because I don't want to. You never want to start losing bracket one. And like you said, losers bracket wins like it's just exhausting. And like this whole time, everybody around us is just telling our team like, y'all got a long way to go. And we're like, we know. At the time, we're like, bro, we suck. Like, what are we gonna do? And everybody just has like this give up face on them. And then we just got to the point where like we all just told you we had like the fuck it mentality. Like we're just gonna play. Like at this point we have nothing to lose. We lose,
Yeah.
we're out. So we're just gonna play. And yeah, what else we got to lose? So we go into the phase match. Everybody knows how the phase match went. And honestly, that was the worst series I had at champs. The phase match. I could not get a kill. I don't know what it was. It literally felt like people were just taking more bullets. And they just like Zuma was impossible to kill for me. I don't know what it was, but he was impossible to kill. And we ended up clutching that one out. That was a hype moment for our team. That brought back all the vibes for our team. Like that win, like one win, like brought it back for us. Like we started clicking right after that, as everybody saw. Like we looked like a way different team at champs. And yeah, going into Sunday, was it Sunday? I think that was Sunday. I think
Yeah.
Sunday we know I think we played 6 matches
You did.
on
I've got
Sunday.
it here. That's a hell of a run.
Yeah, we played a lot of matches on Sunday. Funny thing is, going into Sunday, I switched my sensitivity. I was on 661.
Oh
I
wow.
I switched to 66.75, and I was frying on that Sunday, frying. We just started clicking. To be honest, everything was just working. S&D, my S&D calls were looking really good. I usually call our S&Ds for 100 Thieves. Like a lot of people, another thing too. I feel like a lot of people don't think that I'm like this smart Call of Duty player. I think people just see me as like I said, people still have the World War II mentality where I just ran around and kill people. But I've gotten smarter over the years. I mean, Team of Olsen, you kind of learn the game a lot faster, learn a lot of stuff about Call of Duty that you didn't even think of or didn't even know. I feel like people don't see me as like this leader or anything. I mean, I don't like to lead. I don't, but when it comes to S&D, I feel like I kind of I don't have to, but I just have like this S&D background where I feel like I have to. And like it works out for most of our teams. Like 100 Thieves, like I said, I call the plays a lot. Like remember we like came back like 5-1 or 5-0 versus like Gen Z, I think, in a league match or something like that. Like I called every play perfectly. Like it was the most crazy like play calls ever. Like back to back like 5 rounds. I literally called it perfectly. Like the play I called out happened like to where it didn't even like they didn't even come close to even beating us in the rounds. Oh no, it was against whatever team Pharaoh was on. I can't remember what team he was on at the time.
That's the
Envy. Yeah, we played Envy, and yeah, I think we came like a 5-1, and I literally called out every play perfect. I'm like, yo, we're gonna hit this, blah blah. This is what's gonna happen. Plays worked out like this, back to back rounds, smooth. We end up coming back, but yeah, I think people don't have that like they don't think of me in that way. Like, oh, Kenny's not really a smart of a player, but like I actually call a lot of plays for 100 Thieves team. Um, I think like Sam is just a gunner. Like he just
yeah.
guns. Sam's pretty smart, but at the time it was just all Austin and Chris like telling us what to do. To be honest, Ian's okay, but I feel like in S&D, our S&D looked really well because I used to call the plays. But yeah, that whole run was just insane because, like I said, that one match, like as much as people don't think it's crazy winning one match, but that one phase match is making that reverse sweep or that whatever we did was just insane, and it literally lit a whole new fire in us, and like everybody was just frying all cylinders, to be honest. So
That's like the most difficult. I think that's what I would call. I remember the teams at the time, and unfortunately, I have the bracket in front of me.
mm,
I think that was probably your most difficult game, right up until maybe OG,
OG
Optic
was
Game.
not no, that was
Well,
not a hard match.
I know it
Not even
wasn't a hard match.
roasting.
It was supposed
No,
to be a hard match.
yeah. I'm not even. Yeah, it was definitely the hardest match.
You went so
Yeah, yeah,
I've got it
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
You got Sick, you've got EG, Reciprocity, who were on
No,
good form that
EG was the
tournament.
hardest match we played that event.
You
No
3-0'd
bullshit.
them?
No. Yeah, but it was hard. It was like they were actually a good team. Like they were actually playing well. They were supposed to be United. They choked versus United. They were up like crazy amount. They ended up choking versus United. But no roast to Optic. They were a good team, but it definitely felt easier to beat them because they were just coming off a loss. Whereas like EG was just coming off a loss too, but like they feel like a whole different team. Like we went in thinking we were gonna win. They were actually fighting, like shooting back, and we're like, oh, well, they're actually really good. Um, but yeah, I think the EG match was definitely harder than the Optic match, just because we had Optic number the whole year, so we went into that knowing we were gonna win. Like I said, no offense to them, they were a good team, but
Mhm.
like they really didn't match well versus us, to be honest. But yeah, I mean the EG team was really really good at champs. I think they were underrated. A lot of people overlook them and don't think that they were that good because of the players on their team, but they were supposed to be united for sure.
Well, I mean, we've covered every game here but one, and that
Yeah.
is the grand final against E United. And
Right.
like you said, you had this fantastic losers
Mm,
run, and then you've come up against E United, who, admittedly, at this period in their thing, looked ridiculous. Right? I think I actually saw the MVP Simp's KD for that tournament was 1.35, which is
yeah.
ridiculous for a normal tournament, let alone champs. That's actually only been beaten once, I think, by Formal, who dropped a 1.44 on their
1.4.
on
Yeah.
their championship run. But yeah, if I remember correctly, that was like his tournament there was a bit of a highlight reel for him.
Yeah. I mean, he was amazing at the tournament for sure. but like their team really clicked off the Sog buff. The Sog buff were really big for their team. They have two of the most dominant like sub players. They just looked amazing when it came to like their slaying. Now like the Sog was shooting way better than it was. He just looked really good. If I'm being honest, I felt in my heart I felt like we were the better team. They just outslayed us and outplayed us on the day. But I felt like we were the better team. We knew the game more. We actually knew a lot of stuff that they didn't know about the game. Actually, like a lot of teams didn't know the stuff that we knew. There was like I wouldn't say glitch spots or stuff like that, but there was like a lot of like spots you could use on the map that like people didn't know to like block spawns and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff like that. They like a lot of teams didn't actually know. But our team felt like we were the better team, like the better team. But like on that day, they just played more like better Call of Duty. Um,
Do
they
you
were a
think?
hard team though, for sure.
Yeah,
They were a hard team because like I said, at the London Grand Finals, that was free. No offense to them, but
yeah,
they were like night and day. Like playing them Grand Finals at champs was like, damn, like we're playing like this is actually like
bad.
top like yeah, this is like S tier versus S tier. Like I'm like, damn, this team looks good. Feel like it feel you can feel it in the game, like they are just in your face, like and yeah, I mean, honestly, we just had to take it to a second best of five. We lost Arsenal Hardpoint. We should not have played them on Arsenal Hardpoint, but we also threw Arsenal Hardpoint by I don't know what I honestly don't know what it was, to be honest. Like I haven't even watched the grand finals back since we lost it. I won't. I refuse to watch that.
It was
Because
close.
we
I remember
threw
sitting there like in
it
the
was
crowd,
close, but
like not knowing who was going to win genuinely.
like the airplane hill on Arsenal Hardpoint, you never lose it if you rotate early. And we never lost it. But for some reason we decided to just throw versus United and lose it off their first break. And that just hurt us. Like you can't do that. It just doesn't work versus a good team. And United exposed us for it. So it just came down to us not playing kills on rotation. Like we weren't playing well. I don't know what we were doing. We know if we were nervous, whatever. I don't think it was
Were
nerves.
you
It
were
was
you
just like
tired? Like obviously that's a losers run. That's another losers run.
it could have been tired. Like I said, we played that day. We played 6 games or something like that, 5 or 6. We played back to back to back to back to back. Like that was insane. I was definitely tired, but like that run, I was also hyped off of. But like they were just a hard team. They were a good team. Like it was like one of those games where like if one like it was just whoever messed up. They didn't mess up. We did. They outplayed us on the day. Like, and it was like stuff that we never would do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it was like this was like routine for us. Like, we would never lose this rotation if we rotated early. Like, we had to break. Yeah, it'd be hard, but we got there first. We would never lose this. Why? How would we lose this? Like, we had our setups.
Is it something to do with the world champions? Because here's the thing, right? Now I've said this before. The World Championship is just different. It is just a different tournament. It feels
Yeah,
different for everyone involved. Even walking in that venue, right? Now, I've been to every single one, but obviously the last one, because first of all, it was online, and second of all, I wasn't casting.
right.
But I've been to everyone, and it's always different. I've been to hundreds of LAN tournaments. Champs has just a different atmosphere,
Yeah, it does for
regardless. Like,
sure.
it just feels tense. Even all the friendly pros are suddenly a little bit less friendly at that event. That's what it feels like. I like talking to friends, and they still like smiling. They're still the same guy, but you can just feel like every single one of them was like vibrating a little bit. Like this
Yeah.
is it. This is everything for us. Because I was asked recently, like, oh, how much does Call of Duty Esports put on the World Championship? And I went, you cannot believe. I said, obviously it's the biggest prize pool. I said, but it's just different.
I mean, it's definitely different than any other event. It's more fun to play at champs because I love playing in front of the fans. I love it. Like Nobi. Yeah, but yeah, I love playing in front of like in front of the fans and everything. But champs is just different. Like you get the all around atmosphere that you get when you walk in that venue is just way different than any other event. Like you have to show up on that stage, and that's where like I say like mental comes in because champs is that event. Like I said that everybody knows how to play the game. It's about executing and slaying. Like everybody plays the game the same, or even like remotely close to the same. Usually to execute. And so that's where it came down to grand finals. We didn't execute. They executed way better than us. They outplayed us on the day. And like I said, to this day, I feel like we were the better team, but they just were better on that day. And like Simp had a world star performance. And yeah, I mean, no be okay. You got to get down. Yeah, like it's just hard. Oh, you're stuck in my wire. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. There we go. Yeah, it was just hard to play against them when I felt like we weren't even playing at our best. And like we're playing against an S tier team, we need to be playing at our best. We need to be playing harder than we ever played in our life. This is our last match of the year, and it didn't feel like that to be honest. Um, I mean, we played them close. Don't get me wrong, but like we were just doing stuff. It's a grand finals. We're doing stuff that we would never do in practice, like routine
Yeah.
stuff. Like we would never lose this. We lose.
I don't remember if that was the World Championship kind of where, even though it was like 3-2, was that the one where you kept like each team kept blowing each other out? Like it wasn't like the games weren't like close.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I think we smoked them. I can't remember. I know. So I can't. I know the control. I started off like 12-0, and I was frying them, and somehow it became close. Like we were up 2-0, they come back. I'm up. I'm 12-0. We somehow about to lose this map, and we end up winning. They ended up blowing us out in Arsenal, and we went last map Arsenal SD. But like once again, I don't think we should have played them Arsenal SD. But I don't know what the other SD was. Arsenal SD was just Sims like playground. Like he was
Yeah.
just jumping around sniping, and I mean to be fair, whenever we played against other snipers on that map, we would just still beat them because I guess they weren't as good as snipers with as Simp, but it just felt like like a different environment, like a different like team, a whole different like everything. Like our team didn't seem like we were playing at the best, and they were. So it felt like the hardest thing to ever play in. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I wish I knew what it was, like what made us like play like that, but I don't know.
It'd be interesting, yeah, to kind of go back and watch that actually and see
I
just
might have to.
I'm sure people would love to see that. Absolutely, I know I would. I'd love to see, always like seeing players kind of re-looking at their gameplay. Okay,
Mhm.
so we have to move on from the World Championship, which even
For
with a
sure.
second is still a high point, into this is going to be a difficult one. This is not going to be fun. This is not a fun part. But we have to move into the next season. So obviously, franchising has started. New time. Everything's going on. You end up on Optic, which
Yeah. Yeah.
the like
It
the.
just added to the everything else. Like my ego is everything like just looked at like this bad rep. It just added into it by joining Optic,
You
you know.
joined up Optic when everyone was like starting to hate Optic. It was like it's like the craziest thing, right? Because I've always said this. It's like it makes no sense. Like think about it. For the last 9 years, Optic was the one brand everybody wanted to be in because you knew you'd get a bump in followers. You knew people would scream your name. You know the fans would be tearing
Right.
down walls. And then you've obviously moved into Optic, and this is no follow. This is nothing to do with you. And then it's
No.
just gone. It's just gone horribly wrong. And to add to that, said this is not a fun time. To add to that, things are not going well for the team, right? Launch weekend, not great for you. Atlanta, not great for you. Like, speak to me here. You've got a new team, joined Optic. The games, just take me through it, man. Like, where do you want to start with this? Because there's a whole lot
Um
to unpack.
I'm gonna paraphrase it. I'm gonna keep it simple. Nope, we didn't want to win. We had
Okay.
people that didn't want to win on the team, and it showed. Like it was one of those things where like people wouldn't do what we needed to do to get better as a team, you know? Like I got to this point where I didn't even care. I just wanted to win. Who wants to be like we tried to get Brandon to be the superstar. He didn't take advantage of that. People would show up to practice not trying, show up late. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just like it's not winning mentality. Like we don't want to win if we can't even show up to practice on time or even just try and practice. Like yeah, people just waking up out of their sleep, wiping their eyes, like and we about to start practice. Um, that for
People were
sure.
upset, by the way. Like, people were genuinely upset with that team because
Yeah, and
everyone's like, "Yeah, this Optic Gaming roster, this looks like hot shit. Like, this should be a really good squad." And then you
yeah,
weren't. You just weren't.
exactly because we like it was that not winning and like not trying scrims and not showing them on time, and it was like not listening. As crazy that as that sounds, we had people that didn't listen. Like, how do you not listen? You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a time we played. I can't remember what event it was, but online. But we played. We were scrimming, and on Hackney Dom, I'm like, yo, watch the green OE. Do not let a person go through green to our A flag. Please don't. I literally raged for about a week over it. Raged for about a week. We go into a match versus Dallas, big match for us. We're looking good. Brandon gives us the green OE. I'm like, well, you like like we went over it in practice, and then it hurt us in the tournament. And it's like that's one of those things where it's like, damn, like were you not listening in practice, like that type of thing. So it's like, bang, okay, I'm chalking that. I'm like, well, we gotta focus on something like our team. This is how it worked. Our team couldn't level up to the next level to match like Dallas or Atlanta, any of them, because we couldn't get the basic steps down. We couldn't get the basic stuff down. There's Dallas or Atlanta or Chicago. None of them would never give up the green away. They would never let anybody go green like that. That's just something they would never do because that's the easiest part of the match. That's overextend. You don't let a team overextend on you. That's why it's called overextend. And yeah, they would just they had the basics down. They knew what they wanted to do. We knew what we wanted to do. We just wouldn't do it. And it's like, what do we have to do? What do we have to tell like anybody on our team to get people to do it? It's like we've said it for weeks, and people would get mad because Austin's just raging, tweaking. Because and like at the time, I mean I understand them because like my biggest pet peeve is repeating myself. I hate repeating myself. If I have to do it consistently like that, it's not like if somebody says "huh" or "what," like that's not like what I mean. It's more like realistic stuff like that. Like I'm like, yo, watch the green OE, watch the green OE, watch the green OE. Match comes, we don't watch the green OE. Then I'm pissed. I'm absolutely like I'm enraged because I'm like I just repeated myself and I don't like doing that. And yeah, it's just like that was the thing. Like we couldn't level, like we couldn't look to do this and like put like teams would put people in spawn traps. We couldn't even look to do that because we can't even get to that point. We can't even get like we can't watch the OE. We can't get to these spots. We can't do that. We can't do this. Like it literally felt like our team didn't even want to win. So it's like that's where my mental went bad because I'm like I just got sick of the champs, bro. I'm trying to win champs this year. This is my
Yeah.
year. Like I want to go hard. Like I'm trying to win. I got good people around me. I had good people in Black Ops 4, but like I had a whole new faces. Like we're trying to go hard. Me and Austin are looking for a ring, and it felt like we didn't have winners around me. And I mean, to me, that hurt. Like I was at a bad state mentally. Like it literally, like my motivation levels were at an all time low, negative. They were literally negative. I didn't want to get on and play. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't even want to play Call of Duty. I would get on to practice. I would go hard at practice, but I didn't even want to play. Like at this point, I'm literally telling Mud Dog to bench me. Like, I want to be on the
Jesus,
bench.
that's
Yeah,
how
I
bad
wanted
it
to be on
went.
the. It wasn't like no, it was more so bench me because I wanted my team to win. Like I wanted to see the team win, and if people felt like I was a problem, then I'd gladly be on the bench. And then like I said, when you have people around you that don't want to win, that just it just kind of converts over to you, and now you don't. Now you just like, what do I do?
I
And
think
we
it's
couldn't do
demoralizing,
anything.
right?
Yeah, we couldn't even do anything because we're trying to get our team changed, and we couldn't get our team changed. We couldn't pick up people. We wanted to pick up Mac. We didn't pick up Mac. Like our like it literally felt like impossible for us to even try to win. We couldn't change our team. We couldn't get people to try to win. We couldn't get anything going. What do? We keep trying. We get on every day and we just BS. So it's like, what are we doing? And that's what I'm saying. My mental was just low. I didn't know what to do. I literally felt lost. Like I felt so lost on the map that we would just give up. We would just chalk scram. Like there was back to back to back to back days where we just chalk scrams because we're getting shit on. And it's like,
I mean I can't. Obviously, I'm not in that position. I've never been in that position, but that must just be frustrating, especially like considering people usually worry about their stock, right? The last couple of years we
yeah,
talked about people's stock, right? People can easily drop off the face of the earth, and fortunately you're maybe in a little bit better position because your reputation will carry you through a bad stock drop, but
yeah,
it's still frustrating to know that you could be paid an extra, a lot less money or struggle to find the team you want or anything, right? Just simply because other people are costing you. Fortunately, there was a little bit of an uptick, right? It felt like a changing of your season I'd say about halfway through. I think it's actually pretty much halfway through. Week 7, Florida.
Yeah.
You
I want to
know,
play with Chain.
yeah, came second, got Chino into it. That was the J Cap drop. Did this kind of like help alleviate some of the tension in the team? Did it feel like a new leaf coming through, or what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, Chain's all around good vibes. So he brought some good vibes to the team for sure. Chain's a good player too. So I mean, it did, but then it kind of was like a honeymoon phase type thing. Like after that, practice went trash.
Oh,
We
well,
went into
didn't last
practice.
very long.
No, look, yeah. We go in, we get second or whatever we got. I think we got second, and then we pull up to practice next day. And I know I am not even trolling when I say this. We don't look at the green OE. We don't look at the green over. We don't look at the green OE. The next after
Oh.
we just got second, we don't look at the green OE. And I'm like, bro, I still got to talk about green OE after we just got second. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would think getting second would motivate people to like go harder and like pay more attention. No, no. And like, I feel like this was one of those things where like I said, people like Brandon, he started at all time high. He joined Optic, his first team, Optic Gaming, won their first event. And I think that this year is big for him. It's the same year I was saying I had like where you have to when you start at all time high and you get it to an all time low, you don't even know what to do. You need to like get a new everything. And I think next year's gonna be good for him. Hoping next year's better for him because MW was ridiculous. And I'm not even roasting him because I'm good friends with him. But like it's like everybody goes to that process where you just took a year. Like he he didn't grind as much as he did BO4. BO4 we're looking for him to grind. He played BO4 every day. MW he didn't really play. And it's like I think that's like it's a big year for him. That was a big year for him because we sucked as a team. We were at an all time low. We were all at all time lows, and I think that he needed to learn from that. And like I think it'll help him grow as a player. So I think that next year will be good for him. I think he'll look way better than he did MW. And I think people are gonna be like, oh well, it's just because he didn't want to play with Kenny and Austin. I don't think that was the case. That's not the case at all because as much as like me and Austin didn't want to play with him in the beginning, it wasn't like oh he sucked. That's why we didn't want to play with him. We just thought we'd have a better fit with other players. And going into it, me and Austin like, well, we're gonna win still. Like Brandon's talented. Maybe we can turn Brandon into literally Superman, the best player. Like you're this talented, you shoot straighter than a lot of people. If you just learn how to play right, there's no way you lose. There's no way you can die, basically. And I feel like that didn't really sink into his head as fast as it should have. But I think, like I said, next year with him being around Hex and all them, and like the people he wants to be around, I think that'll be good for him, healthy for him. And like I said, I think the all-time low year was really good for him. So I think last year was good for me and Austin too because we realized like what we need to do to at least try to win. So yeah, we thought that like adding new faces, it's nothing bad about that. Like whenever you add new faces, it can work. But it just sucks that me and Austin have to consistently add new faces back to back years to even like try to win. So hopefully next year goes different. But
And that's fair. I
yeah.
think like so the problem I have with this year and looking at your career wise, for me it felt like and I'm trying to put this in the nicest way. Like it never started off well,
Mhm.
and like to even turn it around to the degree you did to go from because here's the thing. Now I said this many times during the year. There's no freaking way this Optic team is going to be bad all year. They can't be. There is too much talent on this roster for them to consistently. Because you sucked, right? You guys are
Yeah, we
terrible.
did.
We
Trash.
everybody knew you were terrible. Like holy crap! This is from these caliber of players. They are bad. So everybody who's like an analyst or watches like, there's no way this happens all season. Like they'll have a little bit of a change up. They'll come back good. However, I still never felt like it was going to like a switch was going to flick unless you got dramatic change. With franchising, the problem is you're never going to get that giant roster main that you can take players that maybe you want
Exactly.
to. So if you have a bad start like that, and you can't pull in one direction, it's super difficult to recover. So like I'm looking at the results here. Like Florida was like your best result all year,
Yeah.
and then you had a few changes here. Like I said, Dashy went off, and there were some issues. So we'll kind of jump now to the World Championship 2020 because obviously we're going to talk about that game because everybody talks about that game because it's like super hype. But you guys look pretty good. Like going into this, you look pretty good in the World Championship. I remember looking at this Optic team and thinking, hey, this is certainly a team that at least towards the end of the game has started showing people that yes, the talent has been there all year. It's just had X, Y, and Z issues, whether it be pacing
Well,
or
to be fair, the only thing that changed from all the events of the year to champs was our locations. And I think that that was also a part that I didn't obviously want to bring up,
Yeah,
but it was a big part of our whole year. We were in the worst location possible for online gaming. Everybody knows ever since the days of MW2, West Coast is not a good coast to play in for Call of Duty. And like as much as the league did help, as much as the league we felt like they were gonna try, but they didn't really. I don't really, we didn't really feel it. They didn't do it until the last event, till champs. We didn't have a Midwest server, and a lot of the players that are on different teams lived in Dallas. Rather your team is Dallas, obviously the Dallas team lived in Dallas, but like players lived in Dallas, and we didn't want to play. Dallas was the closest thing to us as a server. We didn't want to play teams on Dallas.
yeah.
We're not playing you on host. That doesn't make sense. Anytime we played Dallas, we played them on Chicago. But for some reason, the Chicago server lagged so bad
Ah,
for us, like so bad, like 200 ping for me and Austin. It was unplayable. So
I remember
we
that.
played
I
Dallas
remember
on
those
host.
complaints coming out now. Actually,
Yeah, did we
mentioning.
play Dallas on host or what do we do? So we're supposed to play Dallas on host. Where they're on like 10 ping. We're on 50. It's like, dang, this is just impossible to play. And so, like I said, we for chance we are like, we're not playing from home. Like that was the only thing that changed. I didn't play the game more. Nope. I mean, I don't think anybody else played the game more. Maybe Austin played, but like I didn't play the game more. I'm just doing what we normally do, just scrim. And I mean, I looked pretty good at champs. Like I played pretty well, and I didn't change anything but my location. And it literally felt night and day from Cali to Dallas. It felt night and day. Like it's insane how much different it was to play from that place and be able to play on host every now and then. We never got to play Cali. Anytime the Cali server came up, team was just insta banned. Only team we played on Cali was Paris, and that's the only time we ever looked good. If you ever go look at the whole year, anytime we ever won or looked good, it was against Paris. No BS. And then like it's
I'll
because
have
we
to
were
go
playing
look
on
at
host.
that.
Yeah, we literally were fry, and I'm like, well, this is what we don't get to play on, and we either lag or we get to play people on host, and it literally felt once again impossible. We had a team that didn't want to win. Now we have servers that won't allow us to win because we have to play against lag or play people on host. So it last year just felt like an impossible year, and that's why I keep saying like my mental was just at an all time low. Like I would go on walks, like all this stuff. Like it felt terrible. Like and then to start off champs, I get booted offline. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
It's like oh, it's like what a year for me. And
Well, that was
it
that. That was essentially one of the reasons that they basically changed Champs format to be a delay.
yeah.
Obviously, nobody could talk about it. There are, I don't know. I said there are certain circles. Obviously, one of the things they did do is like there was a delay,
Mhm.
and people knew this very quickly because everyone had to like schedule their tweets and stuff. And obviously,
Yeah.
circles that we hang around with, people were kind of like. So I was in a Discord, and we were like trying to figure out when a certain coach or player would join the Discord that was currently playing in their match, whether or not we could figure out if they had won. Because I'll give credit to like the professionals and the staff and everyone involved. From what I understand, there were very, very few leaks of like just nobody would talk about it.
Yeah.
Nobody would talk about it. It's like, look, normally it's a live, you could say, oh, I won or lost this one, and people would know. Even like pros would know beforehand. Champs, genuinely, people were like, yeah, we're just going to keep quiet because obviously it's a very big event. No one wants
Yeah.
to give anything away. Like, nothing. Happened a couple of times on social media until people figured it out. They couldn't tweet early. But it was really good. I think, yeah, you had that OGLA game versus Lag, and that was a 3-2, got through it because you obviously didn't
Yep.
have a good seed coming in. Um,
Mm-mm.
but that's not the game I want to talk about. The team, it's the game that Chicago have rewatched. I think everyone's rewatched that one.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that game from your point of view. Chicago versus
Um.
OGLA, because it was a hype game. It's out
Yeah.
there, not for you.
It
It
was
was
pretty hype.
hype. Like I was just sitting on the edge
It
of my seat
was.
watching that.
We just started off really slow. The first map we played Gun Runner, and I didn't run a sub the whole event. I ran an AR because most of the maps that we played against other teams was a map I ran third AR on. So I wasn't really one of my subs. So I had to like get used to running a sub. I think I started off really negative in that Chicago match, but I actually made a crazy comeback like the second half of that. We just started off really slow, to be honest. It was a really good match. I mean, there's nothing I really could take away from that was that we started off slow. Gunrunner was one of our best hard points going into that weekend, and we lost it first map. So I mean, we lost a really close one, but like if we didn't start off slow, I feel like we'd have won that one. Um, and yeah, I mean, we lost in the best way possible. I think you could say a 1v1 round 11. Last map. There's no other way I would have taken that L. If I would have taken that L3, I would have been pissed because I'm like, we've been playing so well this event. Like, how did we just get 3-0 by them? Um, I mean, I feel like we played our hearts out and we played with two new players, Draza and Hollow. I feel like they played pretty well. Um, I mean, we played to the best we could. We tried our hearts out. We put it all on the line. Like we tried, and I mean, a 1v1 round 11, it's kind of like 50-50 at that point. Like you can't really do anything about it. Um, Only thing I feel like we could have changed was that game 5, our strats kind of. I feel like some people forgot our strats.
Yeah, there's the pressure.
That hurt us. I think it was. Um, because we were messing up smokes and everything. It was just like, what is going on? And so that hurt us. Like there's a round in the S&D if you watch it. Prestini gets a 3-piece or something like that, 3 or 4-piece on the B bomb on that map, and it's because we messed up the smoke to jump into the top window. So we were like, oh well, we're stuck here at the front door. We just should all just run in, and he gets a 3-piece. And we're like, well, that's what happened when you mess up the smoke. And so, yeah, I think that was the best way I could have taken that L.
Uh,
I'd happily take that L any day.
That's
Is one v
so
one.
interesting. People usually say they'd rather be blown out than lose a
Nah,
close game.
nah. I'd rather take that because, like I said, with the year we had,
Yeah.
I would assume we wouldn't have won a match of champs. Like I said, we looked really good. We looked really really good. And Chicago looked really good at the event. And like when we came out, we put it all online. Like I said, I mean, around 11 where we just all four go down and die, that's different. But like I said, a 1v1 where it's 50-50, like we could have won that, we could have lost that. We obviously lost it, but like we at least had the chance to win it.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't go in there and just get smoked where we didn't even have a chance. And it's champs. Like this is where you go hard. And so I'm just I'm really grateful, really appreciative of Draza and Hollow for coming in and trying as hard as they did. They turned our whole team around, like our vibes and everything. Like they even came in and helped us learn the stuff about the game. So I'm really appreciative of them. I think highly of them. So I mean, like I said, that was the only way I could have taken the L in champs. Was me obviously not being able to play, like internet issues or losing a 1v1 round 11, which is 50-50. So I mean,
I think like I said,
I
it's
think I
very
was pretty
interesting to
like
me.
that was the only time I've ever been satisfied with top six. I've never been satisfied
Damn.
with top six except for New Orleans when I like in AW.
Damn.
But I was satisfied.
I mean, to be fair, like being objective as I am, that is a good result for that team. Like
Yeah, it's a good
after the
result.
year you had, honestly, winning a match would have been a good result for that team.
Exactly. Like I was happy. I'm like, yo, we are playing really, really, really good. Like, what's going on? And like, got two new faces, and like, I mean, like I said, we lost a 50-50. Can't do much more than that. We basically flipped the coin and said head to tail.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that brings us right up to the present then. The off season and everything there. And I know I've had you for a little while, but I've been
That's
thoroughly
cool.
entertained myself. Let's talk about now. I don't know what you can and can't talk about here.
Yeah.
Optic Gaming has been in the news cycles recently. Obviously, a new
Mhm.
roster is being built. There's the whole Hex thing, which obviously that's not your side of it, that's business side of it and everything. But what can you tell me about like going into this off season for the rebuild and going down a 4v4? It's been so complicated for a lot of players.
Yeah. Um, this season, I mean, this off season has been more chill, to be honest. I'm usually just I chill during WrestleMania and stuff. I don't even talk about anything. I don't talk about anything. I just chill. This one's been more chill. We've always have obviously had shit. Well, sorry to cuss, but we obviously had stuff that like has gone on in the background, and I think Austin has talked on it. A lot of the stuff going on in the background has stopped us from being able to make roster moves.
Uh,
Um, it sucked, and it's out of our control, like completely out of our control. We can't even do anything. I couldn't even sit here and tell you we could. Like, we generally cannot do anything right now. We're stuck, and I'm just hoping it goes well. But like, as much as like this is like a minor setback, I'm really confident going into next year. I'm so ready to play. I think it's gonna be a good year for me in Austin. We're looking to win, hopefully win everything and more. I'm just really confident. We have players that we want to play with. We we feel good about it, and like there's nothing else to it. To be honest, like
Yeah.
it's just a good, like I said, it's a chill WrestleMania. It just sucks that it's so heated that we can't do anything. We're so stuck at a
Hands
point
are
that
tied. Yeah.
it's out of our control. Yeah, so it's like that's all I can really say is that it's out of our control. We're looking to get everything announced soon. And yeah, I'm just really like I said, I'm just really confident. Next year's gonna be a different year for me because I will be playing nonstop. That's why I've literally played every game possible I can during this off season, so I don't have to like go into next year like, oh, I want to try this game.
Yeah.
I get all of that out the way, everything I want to try now because next year is just COD. I think people will see a different me for sure and see what I look like when I actually grind as much as I want and when I'm motivated to play. So I think next year's gonna be a good year for us. I think this minor setback is as corny as it is, it's gonna have a major comeback for us. So
That's fair. I think that's fair. We'll do questions from the chat in just a second.
let's do it.
So quickly, just to pick up on those points, what are you playing in the off season? Like, what have you enjoyed playing in the off season that's not Call of Duty?
So I've been playing a lot of League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
I've tried F1, which is my racing wheel.
Okay.
I've tried Phasmophobia. I've played a lot. I've played Phasmophobia. I've played
Have you got into the Among Us hype? There's a lot of
I've played a
Among Us
lot
hype.
of Among Us. I've played some Among Us. I'm actually ordering a guitar soon to learn how to play guitar.
Oh, damn! You
Uh,
do off season well. This is
yeah,
a good off season.
that's what I'm saying. I'm doing a lot of stuff that like I want to do and that I'm enjoying. That I feel like would distract me during the season. And I want to get that out the way right now because I don't want any distractions going into next year because I want next year to be a good year. I refuse to start off slow. Like we've had two back-to-back years where we start off slow, and I refuse to have that happen. So I think the first event always is whoever grinds the most.
And you're
So
ready for it. Nice.
I'm ready to try to outgrind anybody that tries to grind. So
Well, that
looking to
that,
be a good
that
year.
brings me on to my next point, and it's the last point before I take questions from the chat.
Mm.
Cold War. I'm guessing you've played.
Yeah,
What do you think? I don't know if you've played the days. By the way,
I
I
haven't
was
played today yet.
trust me, go on to it, play on PC. It feels like a
Right.
different game. It feels
So
like a
the
different
first
game.
alpha was really I liked it. The slide was kind of crazy, but I liked it.
Yeah,
The beta, I didn't play at all because I played like two maps and I could not deal with that slide. And I knew, well, I was just hoping how the developers talked about it that they would just take that slide out or fix it. So
yeah.
I didn't play as much. But I'm looking to grind this today. Yeah, today I have stuff I have to do today, and then I will be streaming to later to play it. So yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get everything out the way, all these distractions. So next year I'm just focused, only COD, and I enjoy the game. I think the game could literally like be one of the best. Like it can have a really good year. The gunplay, everything about it is just amazing. And like the developer support so far, even just in the beta, has been amazing. You know, like
Yeah.
they apparently they fixed the slide again. I don't know. Apparently they did something to the slide. So like that's just amazing to hear about because last year we felt like let me not speak on that. Yeah, last year was just let's say it was limited. We'll just say it was limited.
Let's not
Let's just say it was
not
limited.
dwell on last year. Right, it was an interesting time.
Yeah.
And you are right. Like it's already like there's so much feedback coming through for this. But trust me, I know you probably haven't because obviously I've taken up some of your time here. But playing it
No,
on,
you're
I played
good.
it on PC earlier. It just felt
That's good.
better. It just felt better, and I haven't been able to play enough games before I can put my kind of finger on it to figure out exactly what is, T1 about it. Like what's better. But it does
Mm,
feel better, and it's probably just a little bit smoother, and gunfights feel better. The
for
slide is
sure.
still a bit quick, but it's not as ridiculous, I would say. But we'll see. I'm
I
sure
feel
the
like the
pros will break
slide
it.
being
I'm
quick.
sure the pros will break it at some point.
Yeah. So the thing about it is the slide being quick isn't really the problem. It's more so the pull up time after the slide. So if they can make it to where when you slide, you have to finish the slide before you can pull your gun up,
Yeah,
then you'll be chilling. And like
it should be for
that's what breaks the
evasion, right?
mechanics. Exactly. You should be able to like maneuver out of a gunfight rather than move going into a gunfight with a slide. So um, I'm hoping to play it later and see what it.
Right, well, I'll get you some time after this. Let's do questions from the chat. Now, the things with these questions is that we don't usually give them a ton of time. So if you are asking a question that's like super open chat, Please don't. I've had people ask about, like, last year they asked about the entire franchising thing in quick questions. I'm like, that's not a quick answer. This is so we'll try and go through them. Okay.
Okay.
This one's a little bit bait. Like, I don't know if you could even answer this one, but we'll give it a go. Do you have anyone you kind of want to team with right now? Like, just a particular player, like you either get along with, or it'd just be fun to kind of jump in and play on their squad. And I'm thinking, like, like say you really wanted to always play with Formal or something like that.
Yeah. Um, one player I haven't teamed with that I always wanted to team with. Well, there's two. So as much as people are gonna say Intel. Donnie's. I've always wanted to team with Donnie. Temp. We were supposed to, like I said, he was supposed to be on our World War II team, and like if I was to get dropped off 100 Thieves in Black Ops 4, he wanted me to join their Splice team. So I've always wanted to team with Donnie, and it's always something that comes in between that like always stops it. So it's like that's one player. Anybody that watches my stream when I play with Donnie, you can tell it's all around vibes, always just funny. He seems like a player that I can have fun with, play with. Everybody has like this bad persona about him that he's toxic and everything. I haven't played with him, so I don't know. But yeah, I think he's one of the players. My other player that is retired is Damon. Um,
Okay.
Damon's one of the players I've always wanted to team with. Um, ever since I came back from World War II. But obviously he's retired. Damon, come back. No, I'm just playing.
Like, you're talking about setting off Intel, like people are going to be taking this and just running with it, just taking it fully out of
Yeah.
context, right?
Yeah, that's our other player. Those two for sure. Damon and Donnie. I can't think of any other players right now, to be honest.
No, I think it's a great answer.
Those two for sure.
Great answer.
Yeah.
That's the next one. Top 3 Call of Duties. Interesting question.
MW3 is number one, easily. No questions asked. MW3. I didn't play much of Black Ops 2. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
I played like the first 2 months. I don't think I mean, as much as my credibility goes down by only playing the first 2 months, I personally don't see the hype in it. I think it's really hype because it started Hardpoint, which is like the best game mode of all time in Call of Duty. I
Yeah.
think since it was like the start of that, that's why it seems so hype. Um,
I think I've
but
always said Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 has got some really good things going for it. We had dev support properly for the first
that's
time.
true.
There were, like, CTF was good with the spawn manipulation, which is something that
Right.
it. The problem is people are like, oh, CTF could be great, and it's terrible a lot of the time. But like CTF only works with the correct maps and spawn manipulation. Otherwise, it's really, really bad, and people don't get
Yeah.
that. But it worked there and Hardpoint. It made it like this combination of like tons of stuff that just worked. But no, carry on. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So like BL2 is not. I would go MW3. Um, I'm a big fan of AW. A lot of people like
Okay,
AW. I like
that's
AW.
divisive.
It's my third though. AW is my third. My two would be either um Black Ops 1 or MW2. I
Okay,
personally like Black Ops 1 better. MW3, Black Ops 1, and then AW.
I like Black Ops.
This is like non-comp wise though. This is how I see it. It's non-comp wise. Like I'm just saying, like what I enjoyed playing is those three. If I was to do comp wise, I think BO2 would have to be in there because, like I said, it started MW2. I mean, it started the hard point, and it apparently played pretty well. That's what I heard, and the gunplay was pretty good when I played it. So I would definitely put BO2 in there if it was comp wise. But if I'm just talking about what I enjoy, MW3, Black Ops 1, and AW.
That's good. That's a really good answer. All right. Top 3 teammates. These are like in the top threes at the
Top
moment.
three.
Top 3 teammates.
Lamar for sure. Lamar. I think I would have to go Lamar, Ian, and Abel, and it's three. It's really hard. They're all at three. Cheen, Austin, and Sam are all at three. But I'm gonna pick Austin for this one just because I play with Austin the most out of all of them. I think um yeah, me and Austin have like built this like duo ship that's like kind of like undermined, I guess you could say. Like we don't really say it like, oh, you're duo, but I think it's kind of that thing. I think top five would definitely be all of like I think Sam and Cheen could definitely be there. Um, Lamar is definitely one, like I said before. Ian is too. Ian's all around vibes. I love Ian. That's my guy. That boy's still ugly, but that's my guy. But yeah, I have to go Austin 3 for sure.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Nice to get a little dig at the end. Someone's asking, are you going to go hard on content this off season? I mean, you've already come on the podcast for a long time. We've covered your entire pro career, but
Yeah.
they're asking about your content plans.
So far I mean, my YouTube's been going pretty good. I've been uploading YouTube videos for about a month and a half now so far consistently. I do 2 about a week. So yeah, content's been really good. Like I said, I've been playing every game. I've been streaming every game. Check out my YouTube, Kuavo Kenny. I got a lot of games I've played on there. A lot of different games. I've been streaming a good bit. I've just been busy, so I haven't been streaming as much. One thing about when people say content, people look for me to play Call of Duty. I think that's like the thing I'm trying to stray away from. When I do content, it will be Call of Duty during the season. During the off season, I kind of play other games, and I think that it doesn't really hurt me, but it kind of like a lot of people don't enjoy it because they don't play it. Like I mean, I've been doing a lot of content, but it's just not Call of Duty for sure. But during the season, it'll be a lot of Call of Duty content if that's what my people that want content from me are looking for. So
No, I think
right
they
now,
will. I think they will.
yeah, for now it's just like any game I play is just will be uploaded to my YouTube or I'll be streaming it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Next question. If you had to bet on any player 1v1, who are you picking?
Like to win a 1v1,
Yeah.
other than myself, to win a 1v1. If I was to put my money on somebody to win a 1v1, I
Yeah.
would put my money on Austin.
Okay.
I'll put my money on Austin or Farah. Either of those two for sure.
Fair.
I think me and Austin have like a generic slash same way of like playing 1v1s. We talk about it all the time, but I think since Austin thinks the same way as me, I think I'd have to pick Austin for sure.
That's fair. I think that's fair. Okay, last 2 questions, and then we'll wrap this one up.
Sure.
Someone we kind of talked about your off season anyway. But what is your favorite game been in the off season? Like, what is you like this? I am so glad I am playing this.
So League is my favorite game right now. It's just it's
What are
tilting play.
what are you playing? ARAM, normals,
I'm just
TFT?
on ranked. I'm in ranked.
Oh
Just playing a
wow!
lot of
Put
ranked.
yourself in the
Yeah.
grinder. Damn.
Yes, sir. League's just definitely my favorite game right now. It's just annoying to play because it's tilting, but I've become fond of F1 for sure. I think I've been watching a lot of F1. Oh, I watched a lot of F1 last year. But since playing it with the racing wheel stuff, it's become really, really fun. But I think League is definitely my favorite right now.
Fair enough. That sounds good to me. And I'm going to end on this question, but I don't really know it. Did a boogie hit you up for the Me and My Guitar remix yet? You're going to have to explain that one. I don't even know what that one is.
So A Boogie is like a music artist. He's like my favorite artist right now.
Okay.
But nah, he hasn't hit me up yet. I gotta get my guitar first, start playing on the guitar before he hits me up. We've been in talks though. We've been in talks. Nah, I'm just playing. Yeah, he's like my favorite artist right now, and he has one of my favorite songs. So that's why that person asked it. And I always tweet about the song. That's literally like I listen to it like 10 times a day. But I tweeted like, "Hey, Boogie needs to hit me up for the remix." But hopefully he does when I get my guitar and learn how to play the song. So we'll see.
Fair enough. I think that's a great answer. Okay. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's
No
been a
problem.
long one here.
Sorry about yesterday too. Sorry, everybody in the chat.
Hey, you more than made up for it today, man. We've basically done your
Yeah.
entire career. Is there
Let's
anything
go.
else you want to kind of say to either people listening or watching, or anything you just kind of want to talk about very briefly?
No, thank you for everybody tuning in. Hope I entertained you. Next year will be a good year for our team. So I hope everybody that is a fan of our team or fans of me, keeps being a fan of me and our team. Next year is gonna be up for us, and hope to show out and make y'all proud. That's it. That's it. That's all I can say.
That's good. Again, thank you so much for coming on this. I know it's been a
No
long
problem.
one this time, but you've got such a storied career. I kind of had to ask you all those questions. But I appreciate it massively. Thank you to everyone watching
problem.
and listening as well, and for keeping up here. I'm trying to reply to all your comments on the YouTubes and everywhere else that you give me them. But this has been the Bricecast, the Call of Duty Esports podcast. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.